like to call the June 28th, 2023 meeting of the Ogden Town Board to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd ask that you remain standing for a moment of silent reflection and prayer for our military servicemen and women serving around the world, as well as for our first responders.
A special prayer also this evening for Mike's dad, who passed away recently. I know it's always tough to lose a family member, especially one who's guided you through many years of trials and tribulations.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Well, we don't have any presentations or proclamations today, so I'm going to I'm going to ask for somebody to move approval for the minutes, Resolution 197.
I'll move that.
Moved by Councilman Hinman, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next is privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here that wishes to address the board at this time? Seeing none, I will close privilege of the floor. I'll just ask the board to note that there are a number of correspondences here that were written by town employees. I believe that they're always on the record. So. Next, we'll move to reports from town officers. Mine's pretty short this week, or this meeting. First, just happy 4th of July early to everybody. Hope everyone has a safe and fun weekend and 4th of July. The Comprehensive Plan Virtual Open House, the website is now live, and we are attempting to push it out to as many people through social media, the website, and otherwise as much as we can. What's there on the website are two different, I guess they're icons, but they're links to some feedback from the community. There's kind of the core values and then the big ideas, so people can kind of weigh in on their feelings on those. We've really just started to push it out, and I believe, I don't have it written down, Christian, but how long is that up for? Is it July 16th? So basically our next town board meeting. So they're using that as an outreach to get some input from the community, and maybe we could share that link with everybody, and if you guys wouldn't mind, and if you feel so inclined to share the link, that's just the way that the steering committee and our advisors, people that are helping us, are trying to get some feedback from residents.
Is there any way you could get something short in the Suburban News? I know some people are not computer, active, only because 2 years from now, somebody's going to come in and say, gee, I didn't even know that the plan provided for this. And
we can ask. The only thing that is really simple to do in print is a QR code, but posting like a link or anything.
Connection, and maybe they can, if they're interested in the future of the development of the town.
Yeah, we can direct them to the website.
And if they're not going to respond anyway. So.
Yep, great. I also wanted to give sort of a quick update on some of the things going on in the parks. We are continuing to work on obtaining architectural designs for the new football field announcement / concession stand, working on that. Working on getting a few different layouts and pricing for splash pad as well. Again, that's for next year. And been having really good positive conversations regarding the potential Buffalo Road Park. The wetland delineation came back way more positive than we were even expecting, and we were expecting it to be positive. And I also had a really great conversation with Mr. Gilmore, and he seems pretty open to helping. That was pretty much where he left it, which is a lot more than I can hope for. So I'm grateful that conversation has started. That's it. Councilman Baker.
Well, thank you. First of all, I just want to say condolences to you and your family. And secondly, also, congratulations on being the family on the Spencerport magazine. So, real quick, going with some of the correspondences that occurred, we, and I say we, the Spencerport Fire District Volunteer Firemen's Association, we wrapped up the after-action review meeting this past weekend. On that call was Chief Gray, who had really, really positive things to say and positive feedback, not only from the town standpoint. He also gave kudos to Superintendent Wolf for the Highway Department's willingness and lending their assets to help with the parade and using their vehicles for public safety. So he was very appreciative of that. But he's just very happy with the collaboration that the town has with the fire department, with the village. You know, everybody worked just exactly how this is supposed to go. And, you know, it really is a model for how some of these events should go. So he was very happy to be part of that. Real quick, I attended a groundbreaking at Lollipop Farm earlier this week. It's their 150th. They've been around for 150 years, but they're going through a capital campaign. They're going to be adding new structures, whole new campus to what's already there. I was there in another capacity with another municipality, but I was also introduced to some people as a town board member of this town, and knowing that we have, animal control here, this partnership with Lollipop that they have with, municipalities all across the county is really going to help out. For people that are unaware, they do provide a huge service and they are severely understaffed. They've got the Humane Society not only covers Monroe County but also surrounding counties. So a facility like this is gonna really go far. And then lastly, just had a quick question. I was talking with some other people from some other towns. The subject of the solar eclipse came up, and everybody is everyone's gearing up for this thing, and I'm just wondering if what we've got or what we're looking at, or if they're making it sound like the universe is going to descend upon our little sliver of the world, and are we prepared for it? So.
And it's actually going right over Ogden.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's the center path, and then there's the center path.
Yes.
And the center path, honestly, only goes over like the corner of Ogden Parma Town Line Road and
My house.
no, it's not. It's not your house. It's the opposite end by the golf courses.
Yeah.
I don't know
Trimmer.
if that.
Trimmer.
Yeah.
Trimmer.
Or
Yeah, Trimmer Road.
Trimmer and Ogden Parma Town Road.
it's even further. It's
Oh,
like
Pine Hill?
it's like
Joe,
Adams
towards
Basin.
Pine Hill?
In Clearville.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah. I think
now,
yeah,
it doesn't mean we're not still in the center path, we're just not gonna get the solar eclipse for the extra 1.73 seconds or whatever. But it's a good point, we've had the conversations, actually on the phone today with the school district, Christina Bowerman, who does a lot of their stuff. And, we did have one conversation internally, and we sent out a message externally to the village, to the school district, Gates Ambulance, OPD. One of the biggest things that's going to be an issue, not as much here, but the bigger issue is you've got the Monroe County Sheriff's Office with their staffing, trying to figure out all of the events for the entire county, state police on any of the highways, and then the EMS and everything else. I thought I heard the number, something around 400,000 people that they're going to bring into the county of already 720,000. So, I don't know. And the problem also is it's April 8th,
Yeah.
which could be snowing, could be 70.
Could be anything.
And so
Usually is.
I do believe, and I do think it's a good idea for us to maybe even establish a subcommittee to think through what we want to do. We've talked about Pine Way and then how difficult it might be, because you'd have all of the traffic for that event cutting all the way through to get back to 531. We talked about just whatever entity wants to do something, and maybe we would facilitate like a town-wide map to just show people where things are. We talked, school districts willing to provide shuttle services. It's just what specifically does the town want to have as like the town's function of this? We did apply for a small grant. Of course, we didn't get it, just to pay for a whole bunch of glasses. Andrea already secured a bunch for rec programs, but we're trying to figure out what exactly we want to do. I talked to John at Rohrbox. I think this is public knowledge. They're making a specific Eclipse beer for it. So how do we? Yeah. How do we just sort of, encapsulate such a momentous occasion? I think is the conversation that needs to.
Yeah. Well, what caught my attention was when I heard potentially up to 500,000 people are descending upon this area. Like, okay.
Hopefully, Hamlin, Clarkson, Parma.
I started thinking like Woodstock. All of a sudden, here they are, and
No
where are they
other
all
time
gonna
for
go?
our emergency preparedness plan to have been
Yeah,
implemented
exactly.
in second place, so.
The theory and the thought is that the real diehards are going to be on that narrow band that kind of goes through Clarkson, sort of around above the town complex of Parma, but in Parma, and then in through Greece and beyond.
Pinewood's gonna be right in
So-
that little belt.
It just touches the corner of it, of Pinewood. So, but needless to say, I still think that people are gonna wanna do it. The school districts all collaborated to keep that day closed. It's a Monday. It comes on the tail end of a week-long break, so they just extended it, for safety.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to,
We need their buses.
they wanted the Rohrbox spirit. But, well, the buses, but also it's happening something at 3:30 or 3:20, right, basically when those elementary kids are supposed to be getting on the buses, so. Yeah, we've done a lot of research, and you're right, I think now is the time to really figure out if there's a specific thing we want to do. Do we want to set up a bandstand and put something together somewhere? I don't know.
Yeah. It's just some food for thought.
Good question.
That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Gerbino.
Just echo what Aaron said regarding condolences and congratulations on the magazine.
Thanks.
Notable, nothing further.
Mr. Hinman.
Kind of what we're gonna be talking about already with, resolution 204, just what's been going on with Gizzy's project there. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of stuff as far as there's a lot of interest as far as the public goes. Also, with the 31-101,
Ellicott.
yeah, Ellicott project. A lot of people showed up for that. Of course, they're all coming to protest because they're gonna, not in my backyard type of thing, but it's nothing. They can't protest anything because they're not doing anything wrong. But there was just a lot of people just showing interest in the project. So obviously, but that project, unfortunately, it's getting. I'm not happy with the developers there just because it's they don't seem prepared when the meetings are happening. So, but other than that, I am very thankful to our policemen because unfortunately, a neighbor of mine, their daughter was having a graduation, is graduating, and she wanted to have a little party, but she made the mistake of not just going online and publishing to her friends, but she blasted it to like the world that there's a party at her house. And so we had about 200 cars parked all over in my street, and I couldn't even get to my house. But our police showed up and took care of it in a very good timely manner. So I was talking with them, just joking about it, but it was just like, you gotta be kidding me. But I was very thankful for our guys. So, but that's all I got.
I'll jump in real quick and just state that the chief concerns, I think, that people have brought up for the Ellicott development, you'll remember that's 259 and 31 Walgreens, is that we should put this, or we should put that, or why do we need this? And at the end of the day, what was explained, that I know anyone on this board could easily explain, that plot of land has been zoned commercial for decades. There is nothing that this board has voted on or will be voting on as it relates to what type of businesses go in there. The only thing we can do, we have done. We've pushed back on studies, traffic studies especially. We've met with them multiple times. Brian and Sue have been on them consistently. And you're not wrong. They have showed up several times on several occasions and not completed the things that the highway superintendent and the building department and the engineer have asked them to do. Doesn't mean that they're not willing to. It hasn't happened. But I've had several, actually now, good conversations with the owner. And they've got 4 or 5, not just the 2 or 3 as part of phase 1, but they've got 4 or 5 different entities that are very interested, in addition to Quickly's. That's kind of the big one. But Dan, would you say that this is not something that's gonna start in 2023 at this point?
At this point, I'd say no, it's not going to.
And I will say, you know, for the record, every single person in this town that has had their hand in it, none of us are slowing this down. This is, they need to make sure that everything on their end is ready to go.
We can't get a Buc-ee's?
Buc-ee's.
Quickly's,
Close enough.
with a car wash.
Yeah, we need another one. But I will say that too, though, I am impressed with, I'm very impressed with our planning board and the way they've been handling the pressure with that big a project and all the community that's showed up, so it's been good.
Very good. Councilman Thames.
I have no report.
Mr. Wolf.
You see our signs lit, the top banner of it's coming, should be here by the 4th, I hear. And we're still, maybe, just maybe, we can get, gas turned on for our generators, after a whole year of, screwing around. Just maybe, we might be down out there tomorrow morning and turn it at 9 o'clock. Cause they didn't like the fact that we hit them on and turned them back off, so,
RG&E.
yeah.
Did that Lori Picardo reach out to you?
There were a few people that were reaching out, and a few people got in trouble for reaching out, and a few people got in trouble because our gas meters got turned on, and they didn't know how barrel clamps got, taken care of, and thought they were cut off, and so no, they're not cut off, they're just opened up and turned on. You can't operate stuff without. 90% of the problem is on RG&E. RG&E's a mess, and I feel sorry for contractors and stuff because you can't get nothing. I got meters on there now that aren't even the right meters, but they're gonna work for what we need. And it's a shame that the money we pay for RG&E and it can't be done.
Lori's been great as a point of context. Remember when you guys knocked down Whittier and you still had the meters? I'm like, why does that take longer than half a second to have somebody show up and do that? So, point taken.
So hopefully, I said that the pumps, if the electricity went out, the generators would be turned on. They're all approved, they're all set. So hopefully tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, RG comes through and meets us there. We'll be watching.
Cross our fingers.
Stay tuned.
Hey, Dan, on 31, were those our flaggers that were near Harwood?
No, that was they're coring, I don't know why, they're coring 31. I don't know if there's plans of, resurfacing 31,
I hope so.
but they are coring 31 for what reason, I don't know.
If they could tie into the.
I wasn't paying attention to that. I was looking at the flagging machines. I was like, are those
No, they weren't
ours?
ours.
Okay.
Very good. Mrs. Burley.
Not a whole lot going on. Summers are a little bit of slow time, just kind of catching up on doing some paperwork
rolling out soon, and just busy with passports and marriage licenses.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Shum?
Most of what has taken my last 2 weeks is reflected in resolutions that are in the agenda this evening. One thing I can report on, and it's sort of a follow-up on Ellicott Development. I was contacted. I sent them a letter back in December of last year outlining the 5 items they needed to do to dedicate the sewer. And on June 12th, I finally heard from Kathleen Leinhardt, Vice President and Administrative Counsel, who said, gee, could you send me that letter? I've never seen it. So within a few days, I think, it's my understanding, other than the as-bills, which won't be furnished until the end of the letter of credit, I think they've done everything that they actually needed to do on the list. They posted their money, they got the village approvals, they put the placards up, and the retesting of the sewers is done at the end of the letter of credit period. So it took a vice president, I don't know how many vice presidents they have, but she's got it done in between now and today. So that is good. The rest of what I've been doing is in the resolutions for this evening, except for, there was a matter that took a fair amount of my time the last couple of weeks. It was a personnel matter, and I want to thank Nicole in the Personnel Department, the supervisor, and especially Dan Wolf for expediting and digging into that issue. I think it was resolved fairly and successfully. It's been put to bed as of today.
Yep.
So we can move on. So I want to thank everybody involved. I was pretty involved myself over that period of time, and I'm happy that it was resolved. That's it.
Very good. There being no other unfinished business, we'll move into new business, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 198, appointing Travis Gray a full-time permanent chief of police effective June 15th, 2023, with a 26-week probationary period.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved by Councilman Baker, seconded by Councilman Toms. Any discussion on this? I'd just like to give my thanks and congratulations on Travis. Obviously, he's been a phenomenal chief thus far, and I know he'll do great things. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 199, authorizing Ogden Town Supervisor Mike Zale to execute an intermunicipal agreement between the Town of Ogden and the Village of Spencerport concerning shared services of the Ogden Historian and the Village Historian to be conducted in the Little Red facility owned by the Town of Ogden in Adams Basin, New York.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerbino, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 200, authorizing Ogden Town Supervisor Mike Zale to file the 2022 Town of Ogden annual audit as required by the New York State Department of Audit and Control.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Baker. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 201, authorizing the use of ARPA funds for the purchase of a new sign outside the Ogden Highway facility and authorizing a budget amendment associated with the same.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 202, authorizing Ogden Town Supervisor Mike Zale to execute a memorandum of agreement by and between the Town of Ogden and the Spencerport Central School District concerning the shared use of facilities in an event of any large-scale emergency.
I'll move that. Second.
Moved by Councilman Hinman, seconded by Councilman Baker. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 203, authorizing the adoption of the Town of Ogden Village of Spencerport Comprehensive Emergency Preparedness Plan.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Baker, seconded by Councilman Gerbino. Any discussion on this? Just behalf of the board, because we've all said it a bunch of times, Todd, great work. Excellent, excellent work. Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next, please.
Resolution 204, scheduling a public hearing for Wednesday, July 12th at 7 p.m. to consider the rezoning of certain lands on the west side of Whittier Road from senior citizen housing to general commercial, and to consider a request to allow for an application of the self-service storage overlay district to such lands and other lands of the applicant.
So moved?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Tom, seconded by Councilman Hinman. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.